Good morning. Wanted to take a quick minute and share a quick thought in reference to the video I did this past weekend that has seemed to gotten a lot of attention as far as just the some of the things I laid out. I wasn't able to actually, do more just because the video had been too long. But a couple questions that came from that I wanted to touch on, and it has to do with this title here about the next decade, 2020 and beyond. I believe could be a year or a decade rather of a lot of broken promises. And so someone asked me a question in the video comment section about my thoughts on a particular product. And so, of course, not even been familiar with the product, had to do some research on it. But then I came to the conclusion, of which I've had this mindset for quite some time now, is that when you look at all the promises that we have come to accept as reality, such as the promise of employment. Our employer will operate in our best interests, will always do things to, make sure that we have a paycheck coming every 2 weeks or however it might be. And then beyond that, all the things that come with that, promises of healthcare, promises of retirement aspects, all those promises seem to be somewhat challenged right now because of the trade tensions. More and more news of a slowdown, economic slowdown, of which I just finished posting a couple articles on the Facebook page that all were mainstream articles that have a very dark tone to them about how the bankers, the too big to fail bankers, all those higher up people in the know are very uncertain as to how these things will play out. But the common theme is that everything is heading towards a recession. So I think all the mainstream narratives have been able to come to the conclusion that we're heading to a recession. And as I've mentioned before, according to all the other indicators that a lot of people don't talk about, we're already in a recession because of global trade has slowed down. So what does that mean? That puts more of a threat on your average person's expectations for future promises. And so future promises that are more prominent and more life impacting are the promises that people have been told are reliable and trustworthy, because in prior years there's been no hiccups or any reason to doubt. And so for me personally, with the whole rethinking a dollar, it started with my loss in confidence in this current system based upon realizing that the game is rigged against me. And that stemmed from me having had a chance to travel and realize that all the other countries that I've gone to, their monetary system, their economies were all basically held together by confidence in the promises that were given to them through their national currencies. And so ultimately, the final promise is that we have faith and confidence in our currency. And so we can see all the countries around us that have been tested or are being tested now. And so we got the Venezuelas, the Argentinas, all the Turkey, all those countries that are being tested now with their confidence in a failed promise that the currency is supposed to be good as a store of value, something that you can utilize to work for, save now, and then be able to put aside into a product in the form of some type of financial instrument. So long story short, in my opinion, and I'm assuming some people might be able to agree with me, and if you don't, feel free to let me know why. But yeah, in the next decade, entering this 2020 time frame, more and more people are losing confidence in the mainstream narrative of trusting the system. And it stems from the political chaos in Washington, D.C. There's so many political figures that are not on the same page right now, all over disagreeing with the current administration. And so we have a complete disarray in the political realm, which doesn't give confidence to not only the citizens, but nevertheless those around this world that look at the U.S. as a leading nation. So there's going to be issues there. Second one, because of the trade war situation, all in the attempt to make America great again, or whatever that narrative might be, it stems from a shakeup. That shakeup has to do with global trade. There's been a major imbalance intentionally put in place because of the whole idea of hollowing out the middle class, shipping jobs overseas for cheaper labor, all that stuff like that. But yet it's eroded people's confidence, and a lot of people nowadays don't have faith in their governmental system or Washington, D.C., for that matter, to actually believe that their job is going to be safe down the line. So that promise of employment is being tested right now. And then if there's no employment, how can people earn, live, and set currency aside for future dates? So to sum this up, the biggest promise that I think people will run into and have issues with is the promise of future payouts on retirement vehicles, such as pensions. I just posted an article literally like a couple minutes ago on Facebook, rethinking it out of our Facebook page, about the 3 states that are having the most issues on pension payouts. They're 50% underfunded liabilities. So I think it was New Jersey, I think it was Illinois, and another state that are all well underfunded, which means that they are going to have to break some promises because the funds aren't there. More promises were extended than they realized or were able to actually keep and to be able to fund. So all these promises that I'm referring to ultimately boil down to promises that are financial products. And so in my opinion, all the financial products that have been given to us as quality, reliable stores of value are being tested, will be tested, because they're financial products that were not, the promises given off in those instruments were not thought about long term. And especially the impact of monetary policy on those promises makes it very hard for those promises to be kept. And so in reference to whatever the vehicle might be, whatever the financial product might be, there are no guarantees whatsoever, which means that there are promises that's dependent upon the corporations that issue those instruments or those financial products. And those financial products are all subject to the market. And so the market, unfortunately, has to do with consumerism. And so here in America especially, you look at all the major corporations that are listed on the major indexes, S&P 500, which is what the video I did last, or the Dow Jones, or all the other equities markets around the planet. They're all based upon corporations that are geared towards turning a profit based upon consumers. So if people are buying the products, using the services, then the share value go up typically in a normal environment, and promises are able to be kept because people can return the gains on those investments. But imagine in a world where people aren't consuming as much, therefore products aren't being bought, therefore the promises of those shares continue to rise, are not likely, therefore there's going to have to be a reneging of promises somewhere, somehow, which ultimately means the share prices won't have much value. And then we're entering the whole recession aspect where they're talking about, interest rate cuts again. I actually heard a commentator mention, just yesterday, about the possibility of 3/4 of a point, or basically 0.75 basis points, 7,500 basis points being cut off the Fed funds rate up as of this upcoming September's time frame due to all the situation and stuff that's happening around us now. So that to me is setting up the uncertainty that will cause a major loss in confidence in everything that we've known as being stable from the developed world, which will then lead to a lot of reneged upon promises, because if there's no consumption, there can be no debt expansion. And of course, if they can't receive gains upon all these investments out here, then how can they deliver on those promises of paying you your 7-8% return on your defined contribution from your 401k, your IRA, and all the annuities and all these financial products that have been given as sound and reliable products are not going to be sustainable, in my opinion, in the long run, because all financial products, unless somebody can show me something differently, are products that are promises to pay at a future date based upon market performance. And so if you look at your prospectus, like I did a couple of days or a week ago at a very popular financial institution, they basically said that no guarantees, invest at your own risk, They were basically saying that there's no guarantees here. So to sum this all up, in my opinion, all financial products that are geared towards paying in the future are about to be challenged and are being challenged now, because if companies aren't profitable, therefore shares can't go up, therefore people won't be able to actually be able to receive returns needed to receive the full payout of those promises. Therefore, there has to be some reneging on promises. And reneging on promises is basically saying that, hey, we can't pay you this amount. We can only pay you this much, if that. And then, imagine all the millions, possibly billions of people that are anticipating a future promise. It's not possible. So I'm more of the mindset that it's that if you can't physically, proactively get involved in activities that produce things now or preserve through tangible assets of some kind, the paper, the digital products are going to be very, very problematic for a lot of people. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this matter, but more importantly, for those that are interested, as always, you know my stance. So get your weight up. And so definitely, part of me sharing this video with you is that if you don't hold it, you don't own it. So definitely take advantage of the opportunity of getting RTD coin. We'd love to, help you guys get something physical in your hands, because that is not a promise. It's in your hand now. Now it's just a matter of letting the market do what's going to happen inevitably, which is correct, as Gregory Mannarino mentioned, fair market value. And when it does, only the things are real and tangible that can be held, felt, and utilized outside of this digital paper environment we've been forced to think is real will stand the test of time and all the problems that come with it. So other than that, let me know your thoughts down below. I think the next 10 plus years, promises will be challenged. Therefore, if you are living life now expecting a future promise, not sure how that's going to pay out, but just my 2 cents. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Appreciate it.